Hey everyone, I finished watching the next episode of Power Rangers Time Force, Worlds Apart. This is one of my favorite episodes. I had this on a tape when I was younger. Quantum Ranger Clash for Control. I have the tape up there still. So anyway, really freaking love this episode. It's got one of my favorite openings ever. Jen has this little TV screen playing scenes of the fight from the last episode, and she's pointing at it with a stick, going, "Look, you were distracted right here, right here. You could have done this, and you could have done that." And the Rangers are all like, mm-hmm. And suddenly one of them has a bowl of popcorn that they're sneaking around behind themselves and all reaching in while she's talking. And suddenly she realizes, who's eating popcorn while I'm trying to talk? And then they're all like, I don't know. And then one, and then popcorn falling out of their mouth. But before she can yell at them some more, Trip runs in. Guys, guess what? Someone has a job for us. Doing what? Picking up garbage? So then all the Rangers get up to leave, and so does Jen. Freaking love that beginning. Let's see. Oh yeah, one of the weird things with this one, I don't think the theme song plays for a while later, or maybe whatever. It's not important. So anyway, the Rangers are picking up the garbage in front of a building called the Lou Medlow Pavilion. I paused it. I saw something written on the side of the building, so I paused it and I read Lou Medlow Pavilion. I tried looking it up and I found there was a Lou Medlow Memorial Park or something in California. So I guess maybe that's where they are, and this is a building on the park. But then when I tried to look it up again, I couldn't find it. It kept auto-correcting me to Menlo Park. Or, like, Menlo Pavilion. I don't know, so apparently Google doesn't want me looking up Lou Medlow Memorial Park or Pavilion, whatever. It doesn't really mean anything to the episode, it was just something I thought was interesting. So anyway, they're cleaning up. Wes's father is driving by. He looks over, he sees Wes, and he pulls over. He rolls down the window. Wes comes over. Hi, Dad. And he just looks at him. So this is what you left home for, to pick up other people's trash. And he just gives him the most disgusted look. Ugh. And then Trip comes up. He does more than that. And then Wes goes, Trip, it's okay. And Collins is like, I couldn't be more disappointed. Rolls up the window, drives away. And Wes just looks on with this kind of unfazed look, like he knows he's disappointed, that his father's disappointed in him. And in some ways, like, the expression, you can get so much from it, and it's your own personal interpretation of what he's thinking. Like, on some level, does he think his father is right, that he should be doing more, or is he, like, just, like, proud of the choice he's made? He's not going to turn back. Whatever happens because it's his choice and he's already made it. Whatever. But I just love that whole scene. It's awesome. Anyway, we get to Nadira. She's up to her usual habits. She's robbing a bank or a building or something. And then suddenly all these black vans pull up all around her. These guys in uniform all come out and they start firing weapons at her. The Rangers come by and they see this and they're watching to see what's going on. And one of the uniformed guys steps forward. He says, "We're the Silver Guardians, hired to protect this property." And so then the Rangers are watching, and the Silver Guardians just burn right through the Cyclobots. But then Nadira, let's see, they're afraid Nadira might hurt them. And let's see, Oh yeah, Nadira retreats. One of the Silver Guardians walks over to Wes, and Wes knows this guy, Eric. And there's this one really great bit. Wes goes up, Eric! And he holds out his hand to shake his hand, and as Eric approaches, just sticks his hand behind his back, and, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm looking at my notes and they flipped around. Okay, there it is. Eric tells him, we're with the Silver Guardian, or I'm with the Silver Guardians now. And the way he talks to Wes, there's a lot of really cool little subtleties in like the tone and the words he chooses, what he says. It's really good. This is probably one of the best written episodes of Power Rangers, which like isn't saying much, but I mean, for the last couple seasons, the writing has been getting like more mature and better. Or well, more mature doesn't necessarily mean better, but like I don't know what I'm saying. On back to this thing. um, over the course of the show, as it goes on, we'll learn more and more about Eric until eventually we learn quite a bit about him, and it's really cool. He's one of my favorite Rangers ever because there's such a depth to him and a lot of subtleties in how he's written, even if it doesn't really seem subtle the way he does things. So anyway, back at the clock tower, the Rangers see an interview on TV with Mr. Collins about the Silver Guardians. He's the one who assembled them. They're a hired security type of group. And Mr. Let's see, blah 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 blah. Oh, that's it. The one of the interviewers says, "What about the Time Force Rangers? Don't they defend the city?" And Mr. Collins responds, "Well, they can't be everywhere at once." And this makes sense. Like, what he's doing is perfectly reasonable. Like, creating a security form or a force that you can hire. But then Wes, he's kind of upset about this because he knows his father isn't doing this for the greater good. He's not doing this because he genuinely cares about the defense of people, about protecting the city, or any of that. He knows that he's only doing this because there's profit in it. Because the city's under attack, so a defense force would definitely make money. If it weren't for if the monsters weren't attacking, then he wouldn't have like any interest in defense because there wouldn't be a demand for it. There's a demand for defense, so he's taking advantage of it. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. Whoops. Eh. Anyway, Wes tells the other Rangers about Eric. This is kind of one of the only kind of awkward bits in it where, let's see, when the Rangers see on TV Mr. Collins talking about how he's the one who assembled the Silver Guardians, Lucas says, "So your friend is working for your father now." Kind of feels like an awkward segue to me, but it works well enough, and I never really thought about it as a kid. I'm sure it works fine now. Maybe I'm just thinking too deep into it. But anyway, Wes tells the others about how him and Eric were friends back in prep school. They were practicing karate together. And the footage they show in the flashback, Wes says Eric always had something to prove, and we see, like, it's just a simple sparring match. It's not like a professional, like, tournament or anything. It's not like back in Mighty Morphin when Tommy was introduced, there was, like, an actual tournament going on with a referee and everything. It's just a bunch of people practicing together. But Eric, he's clearly fighting to win. And, like, he gets Wes on the ground, and, like, Wes is trying to laugh it off, and Eric is just serious the whole time. And that shows a lot about his character and his personality. And then, let's see, later on it shows Eric quits the school and drops out, and Wes is like, "Why?" And Eric says, "It's just a bunch of lazy rich kids wasting their time. I've got better things to do." And leaves, and then back at the clock tower in the present, the Rangers are thinking about the Silver Guardians, whether or not they'd be, like, a help, and Wes is worried that they don't know what they're up against. His father, like I said earlier, he only cares about, like, because there's a demand for defense, that's the only reason he's doing this. He doesn't genuinely care about the security of the city, so maybe possibly he doesn't know what they're in for. He tried making that tank a while ago, and that didn't work, but he's still trying. And without a tank this time. Anyway. Let's see. Oh yeah, we see at the conference hall, Mr. Collins is done with his little speech. He's walking out. Eric goes up to him and tells him, "Hey, I saw Wes earlier. I can tell you where he is." Mr. Collins goes, "Oh, was it? I'm not looking for him." And then this triggers Eric's memory, and he thinks about his time with Wes back in school. And, let's see. I'm trying to remember what he said. Oh yeah, he says, "So we gave it all up," referring to Wes leaving home. He thinks it was a bad idea for Wes to leave a rich family, a great house, plenty of opportunities, and he thinks back to when they were in school. Eric is sitting on a bench, Wes walks over, gives him a soda or something, and let's see, they're making small talk, and this one guy comes over to Wes, and he says, "Hey, my family's having a party on the yacht later, you want to go?" And he gives him a thing, and Wes is like, "Oh yeah, sure," and he turns to Eric, "Eric, you want to go?" And Eric's like, "Yeah, that sounds like fun." Then the guy is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's a small party, only, and then Eric, tries to play this off like he doesn't care. It's alright, I wouldn't have gone anyway. He gets up to leave. Wes chases after him. "Hey, Eric, I'm not going either." And, hey, why don't we find something we can do together? And so he's talking to Eric, and what's going through Eric's mind is, and I wrote this down, he had the money, all the right friends, but you didn't know how to use them to your advantage. And that was just something I thought was so cool. Like, Eric doesn't really understand the concept of what it means to have a friend. Like, he doesn't understand why Wes would leave this opportunity with this rich guy to just hang out with him. What opportunities are opened by just hanging out with someone? Like, you can't push yourself further in life. You can't be a tougher person just by hanging out with someone. And I just thought that was a neat thing, that Eric is so utilitarian and needs order that that's the way he sees the world, and that was pretty cool. So anyway, let's see. Frax, meanwhile, releases another mutant from the X-Vault. The Rangers go capture the monster while the Silver Guardians come out. Let's see. The Guardians are fighting the Cyclobots. They don't seem to have any problem with the Cyclobots, but the mutant just blows the crap out of them. And then there's a part, it aims its weapon right at one of the Silver Guardians. Wes jumps in front of the guy and takes a blast. Boom! So he's on the ground. Let's see, then Mr. Collins goes over. He sees Wes take this hit. He doesn't know Wes is the Red Ranger yet. He sees Wes get up. He sees Wes's eyes through the damaged visor of the helmet after the blast. He's like, Wes? He runs over. Wesley, what is this? You're a Time Force Ranger! And Wes tells him, I wanted to tell you, Dad, but I couldn't. And then, like, Mr. Collins, he's so confused by all this. He doesn't know what's going on. Oh, and I just realized I misspelled doesn't for some reason. There we go. Anyway, Wes tries to talk to his father that people are getting hurt. He looks around. We see all the Silver Guardians are, like, wounded on the ground. And Wes tells his father, and you're only doing this for money. How much is enough for you, Dad? And then he starts saying, no, you don't understand. You don't understand anything about my business. I had the perfect future planned out for you. And Wes looks straight into his eyes and says, your future, not mine. Love that. For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm really making a difference. Then he turns to go back to rejoin the Rangers, defeat the monster. His father doesn't understand. He tries to convince Wes to come with him, and even Eric goes up. Don't be stupid, Wes! You should listen to your father! But Wes doesn't listen. He keeps going. He knows what he's doing. He's determined to join the Rangers, beat the mutant. And, let's see, his father doesn't know what to think. Let's see. Okay, they recapture the mutant. Then back at Ransik's base, Frax hides the key to the X-Vault from Ransik. The Rangers are back to another odd job. This time they're raking leaves. Wes's father comes over and he talks to Wes and he wants him to join the Silver Guardians. If defending the city is what you want to do, then you should join the Silver Guardians. We have openings for blah 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 blah, whatever, I don't remember what it was, and Wes turns down the offer, and his father still doesn't understand why would he want to turn that down, and he just gives him this look. Wesley, I try, but I just don't understand you. I love that. I love the look on his face, I love the way he just gives that line, it's so perfect. And Wes looks back, I hope one day you will. Freaking awesome. Love that. And that's the end of the episode. One of my favorite episodes. One, it introduces Eric. One of the best introductions for a 6th Ranger. Spoilers. Freaking awesome. I would so love for the series to go back to this level of writing. Unfortunately, it probably won't. And I can't say that, or else people get all ticked off for some reason. Like, it's no secret, the show is very juvenile and childish now. That's not a bad thing, it's just that I'd prefer if it was still like this. Like, Dino Fury is fine. It's dumb, but it's fine. It's better than Beast Morphers. I probably just made a lot more people mad. Whatever. Phenomenal episode. There's a lot of depth and emotion in this. Oh, and another thing I wrote down, this single episode of Power Rangers has a better plot and better writing and better characters than most superhero movies. Like most big-budget Hollywood superhero movies. This thing has interesting characters, and, like, if they were to turn this into a movie, it would be an amazing movie. Actually, all arc of Eric getting the Quantum Ranger powers would be so perfect for a movie. And let's see, I love Mr. Collins in this. We learn a lot about him. A lot about him stands out. Oh, another weird thing with this one, the mutant, the monster of the day, doesn't really get a whole lot of screen time, which is another neat little thing that I like in episodes like this, where it's more about the human drama of the Rangers more than the monster plot. And yeah, that's it for this one. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was on the hats of the Silver Guardians, there's CGD written. It refers to something from Time Ranger, I think. I don't remember what it stood for there, but excuse me. On Ranger Wiki, apparently there was an interview with Daniel Southworth, who played Eric, and he said that the CGD stood for Collins Global Defense. That's pretty clever. I like that. That's really cool. So yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed this. See ya.